audio is good.
Boom boom chicka boom boom. Boom boom chicka chicka boom boom.
Don't get close. Too close? Closer.
I actually, you know what? I will never give you another tip ever again. Because there are times where you just straight up sit still and whisper. And there are other times where you put your face right up to it and yell.
Oh, man. Yeah, I got to bring my heart rate back down right now. I was just at Walmart grabbing a couple of supplies for a video, and it was literally on the way here. And I grabbed Brindley, and I usually walk with her next to my cart at Walmart. I don't know, it's Walmart. And there's a van.
You bring your dog into Walmart?
Yeah.
Inside of Walmart?
Yeah. And just
Cool.
walk it next to me.
Okay.
I used to put Brindley in the cart, and then they started yelling at me about that. And usually they'd give me like a box or something to put underneath of her so she could still be in the cart. But they're like, groceries need to go in there or something.
Yeah. No, that's a fact.
So that happened once on Walmart, and then there was one time at King Soopers too, and somebody else said like a similar thing, like, oh, you wouldn't put your groceries. What did he say?
In your dog kennel.
No, he said, people put groceries in here, and dogs walk around outside, or something like that. And I was like, I wouldn't put my food on a rusty piece of metal that the whole community uses either. You know what I mean? I don't know what you're getting at here. Like, I'm going to wash my food regardless when I get home.
Yeah, no, definitely whenever an employee confronts you about something, you should immediately be combative.
I know, right? Well, it's funny because it happened one time, and I was like, okay, whatever. And then after the first time, I had like a comeback, like ready for it, right? Like, I wouldn't fucking put my food in the dirty, rusty cart anyways, man. What are you fucking talking about? Whenever I put fruit in here, I bag it up in another bag.
Right.
Anyways, I get out of my car with Brindley, and there's a van, and I can see like the doors are all open. There's a sketchy van, by the way, sketch van, and the doors are open on it, like they got dang car troubles or they're chilling for a while there, they're living there, and I see a big dog just sitting in front of the car, and I'm just thinking, but it's like a big old dog. I mean, you know what I mean? So I'm not like, whatever, but I'm thinking, I'm with Brindley. I'm like, oh, great, Brindley's going to go after this dog or something. I got to walk past it. And as I'm like looking, another dog comes running behind, like from the van, inside the van maybe, I don't know. And this dog has a collar, and the leash attached to the collar, like maybe it was tied up or she was holding it or something. But now this thing is running at me with a leash on it,
Yeah.
And I basically just have enough time to like scream like, whoa, and it just tackles Brindley. And it's like a little pit bull, like the same size as her pretty much.
Oh, okay.
And it was basically like an instant tackle, and I'm like, I get out like hey, and then the dog kind of like stops, and they're both like staring at each other like this weird like, like this, I don't know what dogs do. Like they just have this weird like stare, like are we about to fight again or something? And then I can hear the lady like, oh no, I'm sorry. And she starts coming, but before she has a chance to grab the thing, it jumps on Brindley again, and they start like fighting. Except Brindley wasn't really fighting. It was almost more, Brindley was more like, get the fuck off of me kind of thing. You know what I mean? Tell you the truth. And then, I mean, literally at this point, I'm about to fucking stomp this dog, but the lady grabs it and like spanks it and like throws it in the van and like, I'm sorry, and all this stuff. And I'm just like, and what are you supposed to do about those situations, man? Like, it was on a leash.
I think you
got off of the leash.
You like punch the owner or something right in the face.
I know, right? I mean, it's a tough one because it wasn't. It wasn't intentional so much, but
right.
I don't know. Literally, like Colorado just got we just legalized pit bulls again. Like it was on the vote, it was on the ballot. I voted on it. I love.
What do you mean legalized?
Like before, Denver could not have pit bulls at all.
In the city?
It was in the city limits. You weren't allowed to have any kind of like pit bull.
Wow.
Yeah, and for quite many years, and it was just like this last year. It was like on the ballot, and you could vote on it, and you're allowed to have pit bulls now. So the only reason I bring that up is because like I hate the bad rep that these dogs get. I love those dogs, and it's just all in how they train and stuff. And it's just a weird.
I mean, it is.
The dog did not listen to the lady at all. First of all, right? So
there is something, it is how the dog's trained or whatever. I've met very friendly pit bulls, sure, but when you look at a graph, they kill the most people and dogs by far, by like the next 4 dogs combined.
My roommate had one in college. I love that pit bull.
That was a good dog, and
like it was a very good dog. But it was very, very, very territorial.
Yeah, because your roommate would beat the shit out of it. Your roommate was a psycho.
My roommate was not the best dog owner, I would have to say.
No.
But what I mean to say is, if you just have a positive attitude and you're around that dog, it's gonna like you. Probably even if you never even met it. But the second,
she's fine.
The second that you're like hesitant or scared or something, that dog like knows it, man. And I'm just saying, we have plenty of people on the property with that dog, no problem. The only problem was when people were scared of it, and it could sense that you were scared. Like, what are you fucking scared of me for? And like,
you're a pit bull.
I know, right?
And the thing you're about to do is the reason I'm scared.
But I didn't back down to this dog, and it was, I was about to stomp it, man, for real.
Yeah.
I haven't even really been to any of the big dog parks with Brindley yet. Usually my girlfriend takes her to the bigger ones. I've just gone to this little one with you, really.
Yeah.
Behind your house. But she's even said there's been some times where, things gotten a little too aggressive with some dogs, and she's just pulled Brindley out, like getting bit and shit. And I don't know, man. I've been attacked by a dog one time where I was just riding on the skateboard. I think I might have said in a podcast.
Yeah, you said that.
And I think I handled that situation wrong. I think I should have reported that one, honestly. This situation, though, I don't think I should have reported or anything like that. I think it was an accident for real.
Yeah, plus, dogs are tough. Brindley looks fine.
Yeah, it really was shook up a little. She was walking with her tail between her legs.
I think that if there's, serious damage done, it needs to be reported so that...
Are you sure she's okay? What is she getting?
Brindley. She has a dumbbell. She's grabbing a...
Leave it. You want to leave it. You want to yell leave it at her. Leave it.
Yeah, if the dog needs to... If there's a vet bill involved, then I think it becomes... this needs to be reported, something needs to be done. But other than that, dogs fight. It's whatever.
When I got attacked by that dog, the only reason I didn't report is because of that pit bull we had in college, and we had 2 instances that I really think wasn't the dog's fault. It was people coming into our property that weren't. I can tell the stories, I guess. The first one was these kids would walk behind our house and literally throw rocks at our dogs. At that time it was one dog maybe, but then we had a puppy.
Yeah.
But at first it was just one dog. They throw rocks at it and shit. Then we got a puppy, and one of those same kids was reaching over the fence to touch and grab the puppy, and Brindley came out and nipped the kid.
Not Brindley.
Sorry, this dog's a
different
college dog.
Yeah.
College dog was Zeus. Zeus came around or bit the kid's finger, and then the kid's parents reported, and the kid told the parents the dog got out of the gate and all this bullshit. So they. And none of us saw it or anything, they're just going off what this fucking kid said, and the dog did definitely not get out of the gate. But anyways,
if that dog got out of the gate, it would never come back.
It would have fucked that kid up. Gone. It would have just been your finger. We know what happened. You were literally petting the puppy, but the Zeus went to puppy jail, dog jail for the night. And I think they did like an evaluation or something. And then the second time we had a roommate that was only for a couple months, but she invited one of her friends over. Her friend didn't knock on the door, ring the doorbell. She just walked in the house and then sees a pit bull and starts trying to run out the door after she sees the dog, like literally run away from this dog because she thinks she's going to get. And of course, the thing bites her in the arm. You know what I mean? Like she maybe she stops it or something like that. And I never saw the arm. According to like that roommate or friend, like her arm got like ripped off. But according to my, the roommate that was the house owner and the dog owner, he was like, it was just, not even hardly a flesh wound or anything like that. Like, I don't know if he broke the skin or something like that,
Okay.
So who knows, man? But that was the second instance. And after that instance, he wasn't allowed to have the dog in Dubuque anymore. He had to send it to his parents in Chicago. So then apparently another thing happened. I have no idea what that story was, but the city made them put the dog down after the third one. So after that, I felt so bad because I don't know what happened the third time, but for sure the first two was just stupid shit. You know what I mean? In my opinion. After the kid got his finger bit, our roommate built a higher fence. We had a waist-high fence, and then he put a high fence on so nobody could reach over the fence anymore. So I thought that was responsible, and it was just another fucking roommate inviting somebody over like an idiot, and then they reported it because, So I don't know.
I don't know.
After that, I got bit in the leg riding my skateboard.
Your roommate was not a good dog owner.
I'm not gonna say he trained that dog.
If someone were to walk
very well.
in this house right now, I don't think either of our dogs would bite them. They
Right.
would bark.
Right. That's true. And that's why I kind of brought the pit bull thing, because of all the dogs I've been around, that was just like the most territorial, like,
That's how they were bred, right? They used to be called nanny dogs. They were made to like go out and protect children, right?
And that's what kind of like this pit bull kind of seemed like, was like we're kind of entering his zone, and he just came out and tackled us and kind of like, this is my fucking zone, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it was just a crazy thing, man. The time that I got bit in the leg, I thought I was gonna have to whack that dog in the head with a skateboard,
Yeah.
And that was crazy too, because the person had left their door open or something, and I was about to do this, and I see in the front yard there's another dog in the front yard. So all I could think is, the second I hit this dog, that fucking dog's gonna come at me too, because that's how I can only imagine. Like they're like pack animals, and they're gonna fucking you're messing with my friend, and
Yeah.
so that was dude. I've been almost had to hit a dog twice. I never want to. I love dogs, but it was like, you're getting attacked or you're attacking my dog. Like, what are you gonna do?
It's gonna happen so many more times.
I was about to ask you, like, what it's, how many times you've been rushed by a dog?
I've always
off leash dog.
Like, I've always had a dog, so I've always had to take dogs on walks and shit like that.
Right.
And
hikes and stuff is what I'm worried about.
There have been so many times where a dog has run up to us, or like, and they got in a fight in a situation. It's gonna happen more times than you even realize. You're gonna forget. It's gonna happen so many times.
For sure. And the other thing is, like, I'm doing everything like to train her. We're watching like the master classes of like this professional dog trainer in Ellis, and he's got these amazing tips, and she's actually really, really she's very well trained. But if it's like, if it's a squirrel or another dog or something like that, like, I can't quite get her to come back to me as well, and
okay.
She's something like, she wants like something in her, like, I got to go to do this,
It actually happened recently. I was at a small town, and Kelsey was doing work on something, and I had walked Beta to the dog park, which ended up being like a whole thing in itself. Kelsey's doing work. I'm like, oh, there's a park nearby. I'm going to go take Veda on a walk. The park was like half a mile away. As I'm walking up to the park, there's a giant sign that says no dogs allowed. So I'm like, fuck. And I pull up my map and I was like, where's the nearest dog park? There was a dog park and it was like 2 miles away. And at this point, I'm already walking. So I walked to the dog park. On our way back,
I almost just wonder, like, what's the fucking ticket? Like $15?
I don't know.
You know what I mean? Like,
I don't want to have the confrontation. It's not worth it.
Didn't you see the sign? No habla.
Don't put your dog in the cart.
No habla inglés.
Yeah. Sorry, man.
Start doing sign language.
I don't speak a lick of English. I don't know what you're saying to me. On our way back, we're walking through this neighborhood, and I see this dog off leash, and I see it from a distance.
Shit.
And I'm like, oh, fuck, be cool. And it's just staring at us.
Oh, no, dude.
I'm like, okay.
It's kind of fucking...
And it's like kind of where I have to walk. So I'm walking, and then as soon as I get like parallel with it, that thing rushes us, and it runs at us so quick.
Oh, my God.
And then,
what kind of dog do you know?
Like a mutt. It's kind of like Brindley if Brindley was all brown. It looked a lot like...
Okay.
Maybe a little bigger, too.
Some sort of... Yeah.
And this thing doesn't fight Veda. It like genuinely wants to play. It's running around us.
Oh, okay.
And there's this lady who was like near where the dog was, and she's looking at us like concerned. And I said, "Is this your dog?" And she's like, "No." She's like, this dog has been like hanging outside my house." She's like, "Hold on." And she goes and gets her dog and puts it on a leash. Because she sees that this dog like wants to hang out with other dogs.
Yeah.
And she's been trying to wrangle it so she can... It had a collar on. She was trying to get a hold of the owner.
So maybe it was a domesticated, nice dog.
Yeah, and
maybe.
So she comes up on us. She's got her dog on a leash. I've got my dog on a leash. And this dog is just doing like figure eights around us. And we cannot catch it.
Huh.
And I'm like... I don't live in this town, so I'm like, okay...
Your problem?
Is there anything I need to do here? And
Yeah.
she's like, no, I'll call someone.
Right. It's not...
Definitely not my problem.
Are we going to shoot it, or what do you want to do
what's
here?
happening here? I don't... Do I? It was mostly...
You should have made the situation as awkward as hell.
It was awkward because eventually I was like, so do I need to be here? Like, I don't know.
Do you need my...
Can I leave? I feel obligated to stick around until this dog gets home.
This is your dog, isn't it? You're just trying to get me to wrangle it in.
This is your problem, right? This is your town. This is your problem.
It's not my dog. It's been around my house all this time.
Dude, I thought for sure it was going to be really bad. The dog park beforehand, though, was so cool. It was like on a lake. So the dog could like put its feet in the water and stuff.
There's a dog... I live here like a couple blocks around the corner. There's a dog that just will hang out sometimes, and I think they let it hang in the yard, but I don't know if they have a fence or what. And sometimes this dog will just decide to walk kind of like around the fucking, all the way up past another house, around the corner, and like around basically within the radius of its house, kind of.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's like a big old dog, and I'm pretty sure it's friendly. But I'm just like, what are you guys doing, man? Like, dude, it's bad dog owners, man.
I used to have this big dog named Cash, and this dog was aggressive to other dogs. And I always had Cash on like a tight leash. I used something called I think it was called a Sulty, but it basically clips to the collar and then goes around their nose, not like a muzzle. It doesn't like keep their mouth shut, but like he was so big and strong that this device, when you pulled on it, it turned his head, so that like if he was trying to pull, you could turn his head and it would prevent him from. It would like totally throw him off course.
His whole body, yeah.
But anyways, everyone looked at that and thought, "Oh, muzzle! This is like a crazy aggressive dog," and it was to other dogs. It was like it hated other dogs. And there are so many people who walk their dog off leash. And those dogs would then run up to Cash thinking they could play with it. And I remember getting into like screaming matches like, keep your fucking dog on a leash. The law, because it was in Arizona, there was a leash law.
That's the law here too. You're not allowed to have a dog off leash.
The leash law is meant, I kept telling them, like, the leash law is meant to protect your dog. Your dog might be friendly. That's cool. But if it runs up on a dog that's not, it's going to get fucking killed.
Yeah. Yeah. For real. That was interesting, man. Did you rescue that dog, or how'd you acquire that dog?
It was through, I fostered 2 dogs at one point through this Border Collie Association.
That's awesome.
And yeah, we've
been thinking about doing that maybe next year when she gets a little older, and maybe Brynn will be a bit of a mother to some foster pups.
Nice. There was one who I fostered and I found a home for it, and then I fostered this one, and I decided that I was going to keep it. And then eventually I ended up giving it back to the foster. Really? Giving it back to the rescue. Yeah.
That was
they found a new foster home for it.
Oh, that wasn't the one you were talking about?
That is the one I was talking about. Yeah.
Okay. So
I thought I was going to keep it. I had it for like a year, and it was like,
when you foster,
I don't know how to train this dog.
When you foster these dogs, were these already adult dogs?
Yeah.
Interesting. It's a lot of patience, man, to train a dog. These like trainers on the videos make it look so easy, man. But
plus, I mean, I was like, 20 years old or whatever, and I'm just too dumb.
I waited a long time to get a dog before we could financially and everything else in life manage it.
Yeah, dogs are crazy.
The reason I asked,
and they fight.
I'm curious, about the psychology, and like, obviously it's like the breed and everything is so interesting how each breed is bred for different things, and they have these tendencies. But when I rescued Brindley, I did. She was a foster pup. She had a couple brothers and sisters. I think the family was taken care of. And maybe there was like 2 or 3 at this foster event that I went to. And the only reason I know that is because while I was with Brindley, one of the other workers like came up to me and was like, so-and-so is about to go to this other foster family. Is that okay? I know you didn't get a chance to look at him yet or anything. And I was like, yeah, no worries. I'm looking at this one. And this is the one I, was my first choice anyways. They like, it was a foster event, and there's a bunch of puppies, and you kind of like fill out like your top 4 or 5 or whatever that you would want to meet. And she, I believe was actually, she was number 1 or 2. And when I saw all the dogs out in the line, she was the only one that was just chilling the cage, just looking around. And all these other dogs were, going crazy and all this stuff. And she was just like, what are you guys doing? And that's what really like caught my eye. I was like, can I look at that one, at first, And so she was been one of the calmest dogs ever. And even the first couple of months, she hardly ever barked at all. We almost thought like she wasn't even going to find her voice for a minute. And eventually she's, obviously did. And loves to bark at dogs and squirrels and rabbits and stuff. She got off my leash chasing after a rabbit like a week ago. I'm just like walking out of the gym, like not paying really attention, and boom, she goes for it, man. She just sees this rabbit, and it goes so fast I wasn't ready to grip it, and just about got it, man. Like the thing just went under a fence.
They just killed animals.
Yeah, like bunnies.
Birds. She's got birds and shit.
Brindley has gone after all kinds of birds, but hasn't caught one yet.
One time, I was living with one of my friends, and he had a pit bull boxer mix. This big dog, big head. And I was living in a house, so I opened the door to let them in the backyard one time.
Yeah.
And it goes right up to this patio, and there were always all these pigeons on the patio. So whenever I opened the door, they would both run as fast as they could. And one day, I opened that door, a pigeon flies up, catches the patio table, because it was trying to get away so fast, and then kind of falls. And Veda grabbed it. She shook it like 3 times, wham, 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 and tossed it to the big dog, who just went chomp.
No way.
Like you could hear things break.
Bones.
And then I called them both back in, and that thing was dead. Like it was a double, or not a double kill, but it was like a tag team kill.
Brinley could have gotten a squirrel a couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
Literally, it was like a baby squirrel, and I don't think it knew that Brinley was a predator either. Because it was like, we're like on a little walk, and we're in like the back little lane of these houses, and the squirrel's like standing in the middle of the lane, like looking at us. And I swear to God, we get closer. This thing gets like even a little closer to us, like it wants to check us out. And then Brinley's like, boom, it like goes, and finally we're like chill, but Brinley's like looking the whole time and goes for it. But I do have her on the leash. But this thing is super close. Like, I can't believe it got closer to us.
Yeah.
And it went up the fence, and then it fell off the fence.
Oh, no.
And Brinley got within, like, this close to it before I had to, like, oh, my God. I mean, it was just a stupid baby squirrel. It literally... it's probably dead now. It's probably... something else got it by now.
The rodents are bad because, like, they could end up biting the dog too, and who knows what they've got going on.
I'm not gonna let her get a squirrel.
No, dude. Last week I was trying to remember the name of a website. I remembered it.
I hate that. I was thinking all last week of why I brought up a whole thing, and I totally forgot why I brought it up. And even later on, I was like, I can't remember why I brought that up. I was gonna rewatch the video just to do that.
Did you ever hear about or go on to rotten.com?
No, I don't think so.
That was a website back in the day. I don't think a website like this could exist anymore.
Yeah.
On like the regular search engine, but it was just dead bodies. It was just in like horrible.
So like Faces of Death kind of stuff.
Yeah. Except they would just post new pictures all the day, and it was like. I remember I was young, and it was like I was young, so it was like during like the heat of like the Iraq War and stuff.
Yeah.
And it was mostly pictures of like regular citizens who were in cities that we were bombing. It was horrifying.
I swear to God. I mean, there's this like Faces of Death series that I keep mentioning.
Yeah.
Which is like a video series of a collection of actual deaths caught on tape. And I swear to God, when I was younger, I watched like one of them on YouTube. And I don't think nowadays they could have it on for 5 minutes before it would get shut down,
right.
Probably. But back in the day, I think people got away with it a little longer, and
definitely did.
And I swear I saw one of them way back in the day.
There was another website that lasted a little longer than the others. It was called Live Leak, and it was essentially that, like, people who were maimed or killed on camera. Dude, there was this.
I can't even watch people like almost dying.
Dude, I can't. I can't watch someone
close calls.
Like skateboard falls. You
I know
what I mean?
I know.
I don't like seeing someone's arm get broke. So imagine what this did to a younger me who had to watch
I really get queasy watching like doctors cut people open and shit like that too. Like when we had to watch that one video with the eye, plastic surgeons, and they were doing stuff
like
to the eye.
changing the color of her eye.
There's one. I mean, it really does. It makes me uncomfortable. And the first time I think I ever learned about what a catheter was.
Oh no!
And it was. I think it was maybe in high school or something. We're in a health class or something. You're saying what the catheter is and where it goes, and I started getting lightheaded, man, and like I thought I was gonna pass out or something, like a panic attack, or I don't know what you call that. But
have you watched The Boys yet?
No.
The Boys is a series on Amazon Prime, and it's a superhero series, but imagine if superheroes were real and like owned by a corporation like Disney. So it's like really fucked up.
I am a superhero, by the way. I don't mean to. I don't want to put it in the public's eye yet.
This is in reference to your catheter thing.
By the way, check out my sweet Avenger shirt. I had to bring it up because it's going to be worth $700 in 20 years.
Maybe. Anyways, back to the catheter thing.
Sorry.
There was not a superhero maybe, but someone with superpowers, like Ant-Man's power, so he could shrink way down. And this show can be super vulgar. So they're like at this cocaine sex party, and the thing he does is he crawls into the urethra of a man and like gives him like this weird sounding experience where he's like rubbing the walls of his penis. And he had just done a bunch of coke, so his nose is all powdery, and he sneezes and becomes big again, and he just blows this guy up.
From the dick up?
Yeah.
Wow.
The show's fucking crazy.
Dude, I went, you get down the porn and you're scrolling.
This was not a porn thing.
Well, you brought up dicks. And one time I saw something that has scarred me for life, man. I almost think that I shouldn't be on porn anymore after. Are you okay over there?
Was it a sounding thing?
Oh, what? I don't know what a sounding is.
Tell your story.
You seem to know a lot more of the vocabulary in porn than I do, I think. I don't know.
Well, bless your innocent little soul. If you don't know what sounding is, then you're...
Well, is it when they stick the metal rod down the dick?
Yeah.
Because that's what it was, man. I'm like,
it is.
What is going on here? I click on it, and it's like a curly rod, and they stick it down the pee hole.
Yeah.
Oh, dude, I can't feel good, man. I can't feel good.
Do you remember
that'll make me queasy.
Horrible internet videos that made the rounds? Like,
I never saw Two Girls, One Cup either. I feel like I need to. Probably.
I'd never seen it. I tried as much as I could to stay away from those. Like, I would hear about them, and I'd be like, that's something that I'm never going to watch. Because meanwhile, like, I was just on Rotten.com, and these people would never understand that. So... I think there was one called Kids in a Sandbox where like some dude was like
Kids in a Sandbox.
I think that was the title of this one, and I think
sure.
The guy was like, yeah, just taking sounding devices and shoving them into his dick. And that was like one of the Two Girls, One Cup videos.
Wow.
There was also one called Three Guys, One Hammer. Did you hear about this one?
No.
This one's fucked. This one was on YouTube. And it was it was a video of two guys who met another guy on a trail and drug him out into the woods and killed him with a hammer.
Oh, that's not sexual at all. Unless they raped him first.
Those two people, this was in Russia. Those two people got arrested for like a series of killings that they filmed.
Whoa.
Isn't that wild?
Yeah, dude, sketchy.
Since we're on the topic, there was another time where like
serial killers.
This is a kind of a funny story. It does involve someone dying though.
Okay.
My dad had this like work laptop, and my dad was a cop.
Yeah. And
one time I was on it for some reason, like I had gotten a hold of it or something, or he left it open, and I was like, oh, go check Facebook or something. And there was a folder, and
UFO sightings.
I think it was just dates. Like he had it organized like that, or maybe it was case numbers or something. But I was like just going through pictures, and I ended up finding
case files.
I ended up finding a picture of this person who had died, and it was like each picture was like 15 feet away from the next, and it was like body part, body part, body part, and I couldn't ask my dad what that was because I was snooping, right? And it was obviously like something that could be illegal. I don't know. I'm a child, right? Yeah. But I also watched Dexter at the time. So when I saw multiple body parts, I assumed
you were like, "Oh, here's some blood spatter here." That must
no, it was more like I assumed, like, because Dexter would cut his victims up and put them into trash bags.
Right.
I was like, Clayton County has a serial killer who's cutting people up.
A fucking, what do they call that when copycat? The Dexter
Yeah.
copycat?
I mean, this guy was sloppy. There were body parts everywhere.
This guy, I'm critiquing his work. Yeah, this guy's a sloppy killer.
Look at all this evidence he left.
Man, if I was gonna do it, here's how I do it.
Anyways, I finally brought it up to him like this year, and he said that I think he was like, "That is." This whole time, I'm thinking there's a serial killer in Clayton County, and it turns out that this person had died somehow. I don't remember how. And then there was like a flash flood, and the body was decomposed enough that it got carried down this wash, and it just like separated at like the joints. You know what I mean? Wow. So as it's being rolled down the water, it's kind of deteriorating.
Wild, dude. That's crazy. I didn't know that. Your arms fall off first, huh? And
I don't know. I still don't know. All I know is that I was a child, and the shit on the internet was too much for me to handle.
I do enjoy watching those TikToks of these guys that are diving down the rivers and trying to find like GoPros and Apple and iPhones and shit. But then every once in a while they'll find like a car and they'll
that's spooky.
Yeah, and they'll report it. And there's like some really good videos of like the cops coming in and being like, "That's so and so, those two kids that vanished 10 years ago that nobody knew where they went. They must have drove off this cliff and now we found them." You know what I mean?
Jeez.
Yeah, there's all kinds of missing persons that are just in a freaking river somewhere that
There was this one person found recently, exact same story. He disappeared on his way home from work. And like 10 years later, Google Maps went through and like was taking photos of the world. And, people just scroll Google Maps doing nothing.
Yeah.
And it was in the middle of this neighborhood. There was like this pond, like the one behind my building. And they could see like kind of the outline of a car from the satellite.
I did see that. Yes.
And they're like, this is the guy that's been missing for a decade. Yeah.
That's pretty cool. They're gonna Google, man.
Imagine driving into a shallow pond and then you're gone forever. You're a couple inches under the water, but it's a goose poop lake, so like there's no visibility.
Well, and who knows if you hit your head too on the impact, and
you
now
just drown in goose shit.
You were unconscious. Yeah, man. I mean, I don't know that I imagine that situation's crazy too, because people don't know how to break a window or anything, and you can't, dude. You only have a fucking minute before you're
drowning.
You're encapsulated in the fucking water. Woo!
Wild.
I know, kind of random, but when I went on to this last election a while ago, I tried canvassing for Andrew Yang. So then I friend requested a bunch of people that had like Yang gang symbols and stuff. And some of them I just kept on my Facebook or whatever to see what they are posting and shit. And one guy has gone missing, and all of his posts are just like, "This is his family. Let us know if you have any. You can find him." And then like it's like his girlfriend, like we're about to get kicked out of the apartment. Let me know like if we're still on the lookout. If anybody can help, let me help. Let us know. And it's so weird. Like I don't even know this person, but I'm like, fuck, man, like what happened to this guy? Like I'm invested now. Like maybe he commented on I think he's commented on a few of my Yang Gang shit way back in the day. And who knows what happened to the dude, man. He drove his car off somewhere.
Yeah, he's in this lake.
Have you ever met have you ever personally known people that have committed suicide?
Yes.
How many?
A handful.
This is a contest now, because I'm up to a solid 3 now in my life.
Okay, I counted 3, but there might be more. I know maybe some mutuals.
Let's just go real dark in this podcast, right? I mean, before we go dark, like, dude, if you, I'm not on that side of like even thinking about that kind of shit. But there's got to be like something you can do, right? Like I don't know, man. There's got to be more to your life to do, right?
Maybe.
I can't get.
I don't know. I mean,
know.
I think that, if you really want out, then
my
hit the eject button.
My boss of my first internship installing solar panels, the contractor killed himself.
Yeah.
And he was just like I think he was just a cokehead gambler who, couldn't hardly pay his bills. He'd always be paying, losing all his money and gambling, drugs and shit. And finally just, boom, shot himself.
Speaking of coke and the internet, and
Yeah,
you even mentioned politics, what do you think about all this Hunter Biden photos?
I haven't seen a single one.
You don't know anything about this?
No. But people on Facebook are posting like, way to go, Brant Hunter or something, and I don't even. Those are the like Trump people, like Hunter or something.
Okay, this doesn't need to be a political thing.
I don't. I really don't want to make this political. I didn't even know if I was going to bring up Yang Gang at all either. But
no, it's fine. But what I'm going to say is, Hunter Biden, like the people over at 9gag or 4chan or something like that, hacked his cloud. And they found all these pictures of him smoking crack and banging hookers, and he's got like his dick is out all the time. And I don't
know if that's really that shocking.
Well,
to me,
dude, this
personally.
is what I'm about to say. You have like people on the left who are like, oh, these are all deep fakes, delusional. And you have people on the right who are like, this is going to end Joe Biden's career. And it's like, also delusional. Yeah. This is just some dude who likes to smoke crack and bang hookers. And it's hilarious that it's the president's son. It's like actually funny.
But I mean, when you're a rich dude who, if you got the money to fucking bang hookers and do drugs, I'm assuming a lot of those guys do that shit.
Yeah.
I don't know.
It doesn't need to be a deep fake, and it doesn't need to be like career ending. When did everyone lose their fucking humor? Let's laugh at this.
Right.
I mean, it's kind of a sad situation when you're addicted to crack. But it's so funny that he's the president's son and that he took pictures of and recorded all of it.
Do you remember when the Bush senior, or not senior, Bush Jr. was president and his daughters kept getting in trouble for partying all the time?
No.
Oh man, I always remember reading those posts because they were like in college or something when he was in presidency, and he was they were always just, oh, so and so was out partying again or something. And they're just like normal people.
No shit.
Man.
They're
like,
in college. You fucking lunatics.
It's like, God, what were you doing in college, man? Just fucking, just fucking typing reports.
The story and the narrative out of the Hunter Biden scandal should just be like,
I thought everybody knew that he was
nut job.
doing crack and shit. Didn't he get caught or something doing that, or is that another one?
So
I
first heard about this a few years ago when like Alex Jones was on the Joe Rogan podcast, and he was talking about,
because he was in rehab or something already.
He was talking about this laptop that Hunter pawned off at a pawn shop to get crack and never picked it up, and they opened it up and there were all these crazy pictures.
No, what an idiot.
And the weird part is that the media didn't do any coverage on that. Like they purposefully didn't, because there was no way to prove it. Like this is somebody's word. I don't know.
Sure.
Anyways, his cloud just got hacked, and now it's like very obvious that that there's probably some truth to that laptop story.
Oh yeah. Speaking of,
that laptop story is probably 100% accurate.
I need to get on the cloud real quick and
delete some stuff.
And
dude, here's another weird thing. The day that all this stuff got leaked, Apple put out a statement saying, we have this new feature for high profile individuals and celebrities that like your cloud will be better secure. It's like, okay, buddy, I'm sure.
It's more like just a faster way to find it.
Yeah. Anyways, dude, there's this one video of Hunter Biden naked, all coked up or cracked out, and he's got a gun in his hand, and he's just swinging his dick around. It's so funny.
That's just the American dream right there, isn't it? Like, I mean,
The
come
dude's
on.
got a hog on him, by the way.
Really?
That's
funny.
strange.
That's fun. Well, fuck, man. I mean, what are you gonna do? You got a lot of money and a gun.
The funniest thing was, it's like, remember when I don't know if you did this as a teenager, but I remember doing it. But like
swinging my dick around with my pistol out,
taking a picture of every dumb thing that you're doing, like, and even taking a picture of like weed when weed wasn't legal and shit like that. And it's like, this guy's probably 50. And he still has that mentality of like, I'm going to take
funny.
a picture of some weird shit.
It is very weird. I mean, well, he's probably fucking on so many drugs and shit.
Yeah,
you think he's really caring about
I
pictures?
can't believe you haven't seen these pictures.
I haven't have to. I've definitely seen
People
the
posting about
Trumpsters saying "way to go."
There are
like
so
they're
many times,
happy.
and this happened to me at first too. As soon as I saw it, I was like, I don't even want to deal with it because I know that it's just going to be this divisive thing. And then more and more people were talking about it, and I started looking at the pictures, and it brought so much joy to me.
Sure. Oh, like, this guy's a rock star now.
This dude's a lunatic.
He might as well be playing the guitar for AC/DC or some shit, but he's the president's son. And he's old, too. Like, he's 50?
He's got to be. If Biden's what, 120?
150, yeah.
Yeah, 150, yeah. This guy's at least 50. Dude, the other pictures of it were like, he would have crack or even maybe meth on a scale with the scale turned on and it weighed out. Oh, and it's like, dude,
couple of 8 balls.
I don't know the rules on this, but like, I know that there's like a certain weight limit before you get in serious trouble. Why are you taking pictures of how much things weigh?
So you just remind me of
Crazy.
a funny story of me and my adolescence and my party days. So like after high school, we had moved to the country actually from Colorado and during high school, and then I went to college, and my parents decided to sell that house in the country because they had moved into town, and the house was for sale, but I still had a key, and my parents had completely basically taken everything out of it at that time, and it was like on the market for sale. And I decided to throw a couple parties. I probably threw 2 or 3. And I think the second one was like a blowout, like tons of people. And I don't even know half these people. And I'm in the front yard and like just 10 cop cars start rolling in. And I just book it out to the field at that point. And I had like a friend who had lived around there. He was a little older than us, went to high school with us. He's like, man, I was driving home, and out of nowhere, like 10 kids run out of the cornfield across the road. I almost thought I was going to hit one of them. And then I found out that they were running all the way from the cops. And so I'm like out in the field with these 2 girls who you know, which any other day would have been an amazing night, but that night it wasn't because we're thinking it was we're gonna get arrested or whatever. And all I could hear is one of the people we went to high school with just like crying because whoever was in the garage, because I was outside, but whoever's in the garage, they had nowhere to run. Basically, the cops came in there and gave all them tickets. And everybody that was like outside like booked it. So
were they calling out to kids in the cornfield on the intercom?
Oh, yeah.
Dude, I think I was there that night. I have a different story to tell about it.
Interesting, because your dad was probably fucking out there.
He wasn't. I'll tell my story when you're done.
It was out on Yellowstone Road, if that matters. Anyways.
I don't even know what that means.
Sure. So I'm out in the field, and all I can hear is one of the football players just bawling like, I'm starting football season this year. I can't be getting caught drinking all this stuff. And I'm just like in the field just listening to him crying, you know.
That's awesome.
And eventually, one of the moms of one of the girls I was in the field with, she's just like yells out like, "Come on, the cops aren't here. We're taking you home now," or something.
I was definitely there that night because that mom called my dad several times.
That makes sense. I believe that because they were. Yep.
Okay, so this is my story.
Okay.
That night was. I did something that I look back on fondly. Like,
But that was only party 2, by the way. I still have to bring up party 3 of why I brought all this up. Go on.
That night I drove out alone to this party, and I was hanging by. I think there might have been like a fire going. Like there were people hanging out outside. Was there beer pong in the garage?
Yeah.
Okay. And there were 2 girls playing beer pong in the garage against 2 other people, and what would they call a celebrity shot when someone subs in for you?
Sure.
They
Old man.
For some reason, it was like the last cup, and they called celebrity shot, and they came and they found me, and I was like, you guys don't, at this time I'm younger and I had never played beer pong before. I've never thrown a ping pong ball, and I'm like, guys, you really don't want me to do this because I've never played this game.
Yeah.
And they insisted, and I fucking sunk that shot. It was one of my peak moments.
It was your basically the height of high school for you. Probably.
So I thought I was super cool. And then I don't know, some time had passed, and I think that I was just done at the party. I didn't want to get in trouble with my dad because, like, if I got home way too late, I told him I'd be home at like a certain time.
Yeah, I feel like the only time you really party was when it was like in a secure house where there's only a couple of us.
Definitely.
And like,
it was supposed to be chill. This was not a chill thing.
No, this
and
was
I didn't,
a blowout party.
I didn't want to have anything to do with it. So I got in my car and I drove away. And as I'm driving away, a bunch of cars passed me going the other way. And I don't think anything of it until the next morning. Mm-hmm. Anyways, I roll up on my house and all my lights are out, which means my dad's asleep. And I was like, I'm home way too fucking late. So normally I pull right up to the house. And I was like, well, here's the thing. If I pull right up to the house and in the morning he's going to see my car there and he's going to be like, you know, I checked that spot at 10 p.m. and he wasn't there, which means he got home later than curfew.
Yeah.
So instead what I did was like, oh, I'm going to pull the car along the side of the garage where you can't see it from the house. Oh, so in the morning he'll see my car and he'll be like, oh, maybe that's why I didn't see it last night. Uh-huh. And Cody's been home all night. Anyways, I go to bed, and I wake up the next morning, and as I open my eyes, my dad has a chair pulled up to my bed, and he's just sitting there watching me sleep. And I wake up, and I'm like, what the fuck? And he's like, where were you last night?
Oh, my God.
And I'm like, I immediately tell him, I was at a party.
Yeah.
And he's like, why weren't you coming out of the cornfield? And I was like, I didn't know that the party had been busted.
Sure.
And I was like, the what? And he's like, the party when it got busted. Why'd you hang out in the cornfield? Why didn't you just come out and shit like that?
He thought you ran from the cops too.
Dude, he thought I ran from the cops, and I did not know the cops had shown up.
Sure.
Well, one of the girls you were out there with, her mom was calling my dad all night. My dad answers the phone in the middle of the night. He goes out to the window. He doesn't see my car. He assumes I'm in the fucking cornfield.
Shit.
And I don't think, I think to this day, he believes that I was in that fucking cornfield. And he thinks I'm lying to him.
Sure. That's funny.
But no, I got out of there. I lucked out. And not only that, but because of the timing, people assumed that I knew the cops were coming. They thought that...
You probably ratted me out, you son of a bitch.
Well, they thought like
I'm
that
at
I
the
got
party. I
advanced
found
info. Like,
yeah.
Like
All
my
right,
dad
boys,
had texted me,
come on in.
The cops are coming to this house. You better get out.
Oh, yeah.
I'm like, oh, I'll leave now and not warn anybody.
Wouldn't it be great if that's how it was?
Oh, that'd be sick.
I really would have been your friend then, man. I'd be like, bring Cody over, man. All the parties.
And I'd never tell anyone. I would just randomly leave for some reason.
Where's Cody at? He's not here. Run! You're like in the bathroom. Where'd everybody go, dude?
That'd be great.
That's funny. So the only reason, I brought that up because that's just kind of a funny story of me seeing 10 cars roll down the lane, which, by the way, I think I might have had like a little bit of weed in my hand or a bowl of weed in my hand as they're rolling in. So I just like ditched that, ran. And of course, they're out in the field. We're going to get the dogs out. You better come out. We're bringing the dog. Like, dude, they're threatening us with dogs, dude. And we're just like, nope, I ain't moving. You bring a dog out, then fine.
Had I been there, I 100% would have come out of the field. I don't even think I would run to the field.
Well,
I would just immediately like accept my ticket, admit to everything, and I was always like afraid.
I mean, it's not like you did any sports or anything for school. So
yeah,
it was
that's
like,
true. I had nothing to
it would
lose.
just be your own dad's wrath you would have to deal with.
Right.
But like me, it was like I got caught at one party in high school, and it wasn't even that any of my parties actually. It was fucking a buddy of mine's. Like, we used to party at all the time, and for whatever reason that one got busted, a Halloween party, and I had the chance to run at that one, and I didn't know any better actually, and they fucking ticketed me. So then at my parties later, I fucking ran.
Yeah.
Because I had the opportunity, because I was like done with this party, like about to go to bed kind of shit. And then the cops show up, and I could have booked it out the back, but I was like, well, whatever. Like, I must be. But then they breathalyze you, and I'm not sober yet, and I got fucked. Anyways, I was gonna bring up the third party. The reason why I was kind of stupid and filming shit that I shouldn't have, right?
Oh,
so,
right. Back to the Hunter Biden thing.
Yeah. and me just making terrible life decisions a little bit. I think my last bash at that house, which my parents found out about getting busted. But they actually found out, I think that night. I might have called my mom in the field or something or some shit. Like, she found out about that. And I still, a month late, maybe a couple weeks later, had another party. And
it's so funny because I got in trouble as if I was out in that field. Like, I got in trouble for being at the party and running from the police. And
why'd you hide in the field, Cody?
I don't know.
You'll never be able to defend yourself.
No,
you're
just
guilty.
Like, I might as well have stuck around because I got in just as much trouble.
You should have been associated with me. Anyway, to tell you the truth, actually, now that I think about it, that might have been the last party when the cops came. This might have been the party before that. But anyways, regardless, this party was just a bunch of dudes. It was like maybe 10 dudes, a couple in my grade and then a couple in my brother's grade. And we get real trashed, and I decide to bring some food in case we need some food in the middle of the night. So I brought peanut butter and jelly sandwiches, like bread, peanut butter, jelly. Simple. And all these guys, they have no regard for where they're partying at right now. They don't even realize this house is for sale probably. And even though there's no furniture or anything in it right now, it's a bare house. But we get hammered, and I finally get this peanut butter jelly out. And, of course, somebody throws peanut butter at somebody else. You know what I mean? And also, somebody's got, like, a BB gun that they're shooting at. Like, it looks like a real pistol. But I had it or something, and somebody found it, and they were shooting each other with it a little bit. And then, of course, the peanut butter gets brought out, and somebody throws it at somebody else, and then they throw back, and it turns into a food fight in the kitchen. And I walk in there, and I was having fun, and I was like filming shit at the time. I had my camera, and I walk up there, and they're all throwing fucking food everywhere. And at first, I'm like, oh, fuck. But then I'm so drunk, I just like grab jelly and throw it at them. I get into it, man. I start throwing jelly. But then that also turns the party into like, oh, we can fuck things up now. So then some other people that were playing beer pong downstairs started just throwing beer up everywhere. And we had a ceiling that had ceiling tiles on it.
Yeah.
And somebody had just gotten all those wet. And they molded over within like a week or two.
Yeah.
So
Especially with beer, like yeast and everything else.
So my stepdad had replaced like 10 ceiling tiles before he could sell the place again. And I had filmed this whole thing and stayed the night there. And me and, I don't know, 2 or 3 people had stuck around because they agreed to like help me clean up because they realized it was such a fucking crazy mess. So we went to town to have breakfast, and I left my camera there charging in the kitchen, and we went to town to get breakfast and cleaning supplies. We come back with the mop and everything, and my camera's not on the counter anymore. And I'm like, oh fuck. So I was like, I don't know what's going on, man. I think my parents might be here. So we just start cleaning up, and of course then my mom shows up and just rips my ass. Way worse than the cops showing up the last time. Like the cops showing up, it almost was just like, you're an idiot. But this time it turned into a big fight. Like this caused confrontation between her and my stepdad. Like we got in a fight. Like he's trying to sell this house, and now he has to come in and fix ceiling tiles, and they obviously see it's a mess, and they didn't know I was coming back to clean it, but like you trash everything, and my camera's on the counter. So they open up the counter, and there's one black person at this party, okay? And they open up the camera, and it's the one black person with my pistol that looks, I mean, it's a BB gun, but it looks like a pistol. And he's just like, "What's up? I'm going to bust a cap in your ass, motherfucker." So my dad's like, "Where's the fucking pistol?" Or my stepdad's like, "Where's this pistol at?" And all this shit. And he's thinking we were playing with guns and stuff. Dude. So I'm like, "No, that was just a BB gun." And, I had to like apologize my way out of that one. That was the biggest trouble I've ever been in within my parents, not like legal or anything, but
yeah.
Big time. I had a great time. I had a lot of fun. One of my most memorable parties, when I've had a couple, because I've never, how many times do you have a food fight, like a real food fight in your life? Can you think of any?
Me, probably never.
Yeah, and it was like everything was cleared out. It seemed like we can clean this up later or whatever. So just jelly and peanut butter. You're grabbing a thing of peanut butter and slapping somebody in the face with it, dude. And everybody's just covered in fucking peanut butter and jelly and shit. It was a blast, but
then one person licks it off the other, and next thing you know, you're eating food off each other.
And it was all dudes, and it was like turned into a real sausage fest there.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
And there was that night, my cousin and the one black dude got in a fight. Well, that was kind of cool to watch. Those guys, but they're actually very good friends.
Yeah.
So
I know exactly what you're talking about.
So it's kind of funny, but this other dude was at the party. I think they heard them bickering or something, and then he started egging them on and like pissing both of them off more and more until they finally like started throwing punches at each other. And I don't know, it was kind of a funny thing seeing. They're obviously fine, but it's funny that two guys that could be friends could just punch each other.
One time I was hanging out with both of them, and another friend of ours. Me and this friend worked at the Cafe Mississippi, and we had just stolen a bottle of like whiskey from the bar downstairs.
Yeah.
So it's the four of us driving around, and that guy who was in the video with the gun, he got so fucking drunk, he just became like this, and he's a big dude.
Very.
He just became this like
50 plus. I don't know.
Like this human sack. You couldn't tell him to do anything or move, and we had to go home. So him and your cousin, we pull up to his house, and we're like three dudes are trying to lift this guy out of our friend's car.
Good luck.
And we ended up driving away with we just kind of pushed him into his lawn. And your cousin was like standing over him. That's the last thing I saw as we were driving away. I'm like,
what am I gonna do with him now?
This can't be my problem. I cannot get him inside.
He probably pushing 400 now, man. He's put on more since then.
Yeah,
man. Anyways, that was a dumb moment in my life where I was filming me partying and destroying my shit, and I don't know. I guess we all have those phases, right? Up until our 50s.
Up
plus.
until our 50s when we're doing crack
I'm sure that
with various
his
hookers.
phase is about done, probably.
Yeah.
I don't know. Everybody makes fun of Biden for falling off the bike, too. And I'm always like,
There's actually this really fucked up photo of Hunter with crack teeth
what does that mean?
and like meth teeth. I don't know.
They got holes in them?
They're like tiny and like you can see the core. It's a messed up photo.
Everybody's making fun of Biden for falling off the bicycle. It's a little video. He's riding, and then he kind of like tries to stop for a second, but I don't know, his foot catches and he falls over.
It didn't catch. He was still clipped in.
Oh, he's got foot, that
Like professional,
fancy,
like bicycle, like you clip into the
Yeah.
pedals. He just,
didn't even see that.
his foot didn't come out of the clip.
So
there was nothing to stop him from falling.
everybody's making fun of him from this, and I'm just like, God damn, the motherfucker's 100 years old and he's still riding a bicycle.
Motherfucker's 100 years old and he survived the fall.
Yeah, like he didn't break his hip right.
Right.
Like, that's what I expect. That's what I'm waiting for the next news story. He falls down the stairs and broke his hip. But
We're making fun of him because he rode a bicycle and survived the fall at fucking 100 years old.
that's what I'm saying. Like,
But did you see Trump's response?
no.
He's like, this is why you'll never catch me on a bicycle. Or he said something like, I can promise you I will never be on a bicycle. That's so good.
Well, that I believe.
Yeah.
That I believe. Hey, I'm not gonna say the guy isn't funny. All right,
He's hilarious.
I laugh at the guy.
I follow this Twitter account that just reposts his old tweets.
Oh, cool.
It's like the shit he says is so insanely funny.
Unfiltered bullshit. And maybe he should. Maybe he could have been the head of like the business and trade department for us or something. Like, okay, you might make those business deals. I don't know. I don't know if that guy can like be the face of us though, right? Isn't he? Are they supposed to be like, this is America?
In 10 years, all these people will be dead, and maybe there'll be like younger Congress people and senators and.
I don't. Kind of side note here, but I keep hearing all these news stories about like 8 different countries right now revolting against their governments. And it's like, these people are like, you're not going to hear this on the news, but Israel and there's a couple of big ones, Chile and I can't remember, like all 8 of them are like literally charging into their capitals and trying to take over the government again.
It's going to get really bad. I don't know if you pay attention to the food shortages.
Yeah, that's another thing. What's funny about these food shortages too is like, you'll see, I'm always on the TikTok, obviously, and there's these like truckers that are like, you'd think that they would have be able to tell you about these food shortages or be able to warn you a little bit because they're the one bringing the food in and stuff. And they're like, there's guys are talking about how like, there was times when there was a lot of food in the ports and like they weren't allowed to get it sometimes, but this time there like isn't any food in the ports. Like there really is some sort of like shortage going on or something, and I'm wondering how much of it is like man-made too, because there shouldn't be a fucking food shortage, right? I don't know.
No, there should be. It won't affect, like the most it's going to affect us here is prices are going to go up.
Yeah,
we're still going to get a hold of it. It's like countries in Africa and shit, like people are really going to starve.
And is this because of the war? Probably.
It has a lot to do with the war.
And all these, yeah.
So Ukraine is a huge supplier of wheat.
Yeah.
Russia is a huge supplier of fertilizer.
Yeah.
Like these
And
these are problems that are starting to hit, and they're going to hit a lot harder like during the next few rotations of crop.
Did you hear what happened to Sriracha?
No.
This is an interesting story. So Sriracha used to buy their peppers from some family farm, like I don't know what the exact name, something Family Farms or something. And I think it's a American out here in America buying all their peppers, which is a lot of peppers for Sriracha, the Sriracha company. Well, I think last year Sriracha decided to sue them because they thought they were getting overcharged on shit, or upcharged on shit they weren't supposed to be getting charged, over like $1 million worth of shit. Sue them for it. They lost the lawsuit, had to pay this little family farm $23 million in, legal fees and bullshit, and had to cut their contracts off with these people as well. So then Sriracha had to go find new farms in Mexico, and basically they're haven't been able to supply Sriracha with enough peppers to supply or keep up with the demand that they have across the nation and the world. So right now, you can't find Sriracha in any of the stores. Like, I've been looking for a couple of weeks because on eBay,
I was just about to say,
I've been I'm hustler.
Flip some stuff on eBay.
Two bottles of fucking Sriracha go for $40 on eBay right now, where they probably cost $5-6 a piece a bottle. So, you're double, tripling your money on if you can find some right now. But since I've heard about this, like 2 weeks ago, I went to Chicago. I've been trying to go to a couple of different grocery stores. I haven't been able to find any Sriracha.
That's hilarious.
And it's because they tried suing, their distributors, their suppliers, and lost.
That's excellent.
Isn't that a crazy story?
Be on the lookout for Sriracha.
For real, especially you hustlers. I mean, I'm sure if you people that like Sriracha, if people that like Sriracha probably want it, but I'm the hustler, man. I'm trying to I don't know, make it. You can get by if I can find some. I was hoping in Chicago to find some little tiny grocery store that doesn't sell a lot of Sriracha, but they have a case in the back or something like that. That's what I was hoping for. Nope, couldn't find any, man. Good luck.
Damn.
Sriracha shortage.
All right, well, it's time to end it.
Yeah, it's pretty good. I mean, I was trying to look at my notes here.
No need. Everybody, thank you for watching. Like, subscribe. Stay tuned for next week.
Yeah, if we get 100,000 likes, then
we'll make out.
Cody's.
If we get 100,000 likes,
I was gonna say Cody's gonna shave his head finally. God, get a haircut.
If we get 100,000 likes, I'll shave my head.
Are you really growing it out all the way, or are you gonna get a haircut soon?
Have you ever stuck to a New Year's resolution?
No.
My New Year's resolution was to not cut my hair.
Aren't resolutions supposed to be good for you?
I don't know. I actually don't know what they mean.
I'm resolved.